Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates says of his success that it's really been based on partnerships from the very beginning. We're partnering for a greater South Africa by getting behind small business right here on It's My Biz. Join us for the exciting final episode of Season 4 and make your vote for small business. Tonight on It's My Biz, we feature a dynamic small business operating in the fast-moving world of packaged consumer goods. And it's just as well our small business owner has big dreams, because tonight he's meeting some of the biggest names behind South Africa's most successful brands and businesses. Tonight's business owner is Norman Legwale. I went to meet him at his offices in Industria, Johannesburg.
I worked in corporate for 21 years. I think I've learned a lot and in my 21 years in corporate, because I was involved with a lot of things. From doing exactly what I'm doing today to actually heading a team, and then moved to marketing until I decided to do my own thing. The focus is more on the bottom end of the market. The rural market, your township market, all of those things is more the core of the business. So in this whole time where I made sure that I understood that. I understood how that market think, how they do things and all of those things, and that to me was very important, because in a lot of cases, I don't think most of the brands that are in South Africa understand that business very well. They're too prescriptive to the market.
So you always had a heart for this particular market. When did the entrepreneurial spirit kick in?
I've always had this, before I started working myself, I started my own business when I was still a kid, I started my own business selling clothing and everything else. And I know that I like people, I want to be interacting with people all the time. So, that comes naturally with me, I can sell you anything. I can sell you ice in Iceland, I can sell that. That's what I know, that's what I specialize in. I felt that it's about time that I will do something for myself and not for other people. And basically that was the strong motivation for me, was that for now, for the first time, let me do something for me. There are more chances of me failing than chances of succeeding. So I knew that I had to make sure that everything works, because I don't want to be a statistic. We all of a sudden have become some important people in our own way. I know a lot, and I think with the knowledge that I have of this market, I can actually make anything work. It doesn't matter what it is. I can create my own brand and make it work.
Where did you go for strength? How did you overcome this fear?
I do a lot of charity work. I do a lot of things for free for other people. Okay. I get involved with poverty alleviation projects and stuff like that. And I'm a strong believer that anything is possible. You know what? If you put your mind at something, if you want it to work, it will work. I've always believed in that.
Here is tonight's small business trailblazer, Norman Legwale. They're the players and pathfinders behind South Africa's favorite brands and businesses. Now, without any further ado, let's introduce you to tonight's thought leaders.
I'm Andile, the CEO of Pamus Investment. I started business at high school, selling newspapers in Hebrew and also pushing checkers in trolleys. And I grew, built houses, and I brought some foreign direct investment in the country.
Hi, my name's Tom Boardman, former chief executive of the Nedbank Group, now retired and serving as a non-executive on a number of boards. So I've seen the world from both sides of the equation, from very big business and from very small business. And it's been an interesting journey in which I've learned the best lessons, and the most valuable ones of my life have been from when things have gone wrong. I've learned more from my failures and setbacks, and I've had many of them, than I have from my successes.
Hi, I'm David Evans. I'm an early investor in and CEO of Boss Brands, which is a rapidly growing South African premium beverage business with operations throughout South Africa and now internationally.
For Tomoso Marketing, the sky is the limit, but will the thought leaders share their vision? We'll soon see after the break.
With Nedbank's revolving business credit cards, you can either earn rewards or get cash back when you settle early. With Nedbank's revolving business credit cards, you can either earn rewards or get cash back when you settle early.
Hi, my name is Norman Lechwale, CEO of Tomoso Sales and Marketing. We do sales and distribution to the bottom end of the trade. We've been running the business for 2.5 years now, and our focus is strictly on the bottom end of the trade, your smaller trader that buys on a daily basis. We do our business selling to these traders on a COD basis. Our biggest challenge in this market is that we need to be able to deliver on to every single customer, 20 customers a day per van, and we haven't got enough capacity to be able to go to every single outlet that we would like to go to.
You clearly have a very deep understanding of your market and your business. You know where the market is, you know who the people are. But I think your business seems to me to be getting to that crucial point on its growth phase where, number one, you learn the big lesson that as businesses grow, they suck in cash. You need to carry more inventory, you need more vehicles, and so having started the business with minimal capital usually, you kind of get along and you get trade credit from your suppliers, and then you reach this critical point. So that's something you're going to have to look at very carefully. And on a generic basis, my experience is that you're kind of at the point where you need to maybe use some tools that we use in business. Over and over, I've seen the most successful businesses I've come across are vision-led and values-driven, where the owners have got a clear vision of what they want to be in 3, 5, and 10 years' time. Then you take stock, and once you've got that picture clear, then you say, well, this is where I am, and then you've got to go through a structured strategy process to say, how do I get from where I am to where I want to be? And that's the strategy. And then out of that strategy will come, what are the capital requirements that I need? What is the working capital? How much equity do I need versus how much debt? How much can I afford? Accurate, meaningful, and timeless management information becomes essential. You can't keep everything in your head anymore. And there are very good systems, all kinds of accounting systems, which have got inventory systems plugged into them. But I think that structuring your strategic steps from here, and that'll also guide you in a very difficult decision as to whether you continue going alone or whether at some stage you need to bring in an equity partner. And I've been down different roads from having started my own business back in 1980 when I started the Boardman shops. Pick and Pay, I needed more cash, so I brought in a 50% partner. We then grew very rapidly, and they ended up owning the whole business. So your choice of partner is a very crucial thing in your life.
Norman, you've got a good business, but then you are spread all the provinces except Western Cape. My advice to you, you've got to consolidate. I mean, when you're starting a business, your business is about 2.5 years old. You have to look at where the cash is, and my research says it's Joburg, Durban, and Cape Town, where the money is. So, in order to to control in your business, I think you should cut some of the provinces and develop 3 or 4 provinces, as far as I'm concerned. And again, you're operating from your ex-employer's premises. That's your competitor. You have to be independent completely. You're going to move out of those premises, look for other premises, and I think in that way you can grow your business and control your business. In terms of your vans, I mean, technology is advanced. You can put some system in your vans whereby sitting in your office or one of your clerks can know each and every van of yours, where it is, what speed it's driving, and can communicate with them 24/7.
One thing I'd flag is just be careful. Often when you're growing really fast, one of the things that can fall by the wayside is how you performance manage and give people feedback on their performance and how you develop your people, because you're so busy trying to grow and trying to add new clients, and you're scrambling in 10 different places, and you're trying to figure out where the vehicles must go. But the people will create, the people in your team will create the leverage for you to go and get new business, to go and grow the business, if everybody in your team is running down the right path. So it's really, really important to, first off, create a really simple, compelling vision that everybody can get behind, but then to articulate that for every person in your organization. It's a couple of very simple, very clear, very measurable goals, so people know what path they've got to be running on, and then make that measurement of those goals very, very obvious, very public, so everybody knows who's performing well, who's not performing well, and give feedback really often in an objective, unemotional way. And you'll find if you articulate those goals and give that performance feedback clearly and well, that people start running a lot more independently, and you have to manage people a lot less, and you can focus on some of the more strategic things to try and grow your business.
For small businesses, of all the information you need, cash flow management and projecting your cash flow needs ahead is very important. And whether you're going out to raise equity capital or debt to gear it, and whether it is asset finance or whether it is straight working capital finance, any investor is going to want to look at that business plan, and they're going to want to look at the cash flow. How are you going to service this? What is the net flow out of that business going to be over time? So making sure that you've got that information is absolutely key to running the business successfully and also to raising capital.
From a financial point of view, I mean, we happen to be lucky to have a friend that is a chartered accountant that is willing to do his work with us, free of charge. On weekends, we meet with him every Saturday. We sit down and do play with the numbers and then look at projections for the next 5. I mean, he worked on 14-year projection to start with.
Norman, one of the things you highlighted as a constraint for growth for you is obviously financing to grow your business. I think the first thing is to really try and find ways of growing in a way that is put it asset light. In other words, you're not having to buy the assets outright, where there's opportunities to contract the assets or lease the assets or rent the assets. So whether it's premises or vehicles or even IT systems, to find ways where you can contract that or rent it. Because as you grow, if you're having to buy an asset outright in order to grow, it consumes a huge amount of cash, which is locked in that asset for quite a few years. So even though the operating cost of renting that asset or contracting that asset might be higher, the cash drain on your business is a lot less. And as your business matures, and if you've got a profitable underlying business, you're going to start to find that also more formal financing options start to become available, particularly on generic assets like vehicles or warehouses. People will line up to finance those, and you can take advantage of that. If it comes to a decision where you start to think around, well, maybe I need to get in an outside investor, any investor is probably going to look at a couple of different things in your business. A great investment opportunity from my perspective is going to have a great market potential, great underlying business economics, a great business team behind it, and a repeatable business model. So you've got to think through those 4 things and try and understand for yourself, where am I ticking those boxes, and what can I do to strengthen one of those parts of my story?
We are using premises of my previous employer and their warehouses nationally. And the problem is, that is very limiting us because they can only allow certain things to go into that warehouse. And with other principles that we have, some of them are using third-party warehousing companies, and it becomes a problem, where our guys have to go to different warehouses to go and pick up stock. All that. Whereas if we had our own warehouse, we would be able to get everybody to go and deliver at those warehouses at all the places that we're operating from.
Yeah, coming to warehouses, you mentioned that 70% of your business is in the rural area. You mentioned Eastern Cape and KZN. Now, there are warehouses there that were built during apartheid in the Eastern Cape. Those warehouses are lying there, they're empty. The government don't know what to do with them. And I think if you negotiate with the likes of the DTI, you can get warehouses and also get some holiday and not paying rental for a period of time to boost your business, because once you get a holiday, that also increases your cash flow. So it's something that you must look at into seriously.
Okay, excellent.
Given that you're operating on a pretty national basis, 8 of the 9 provinces, that's a lot of warehousing. If you're going to have warehousing, in all those areas, so again, identifying your key areas and focusing on them first, building them up and maximizing that area first before you then spread to another area. And just again, to reiterate, particularly looking at it from the banking side, when the business is growing, and the risk is that as you start having your own warehouse, you will build up stock. And your working capital in the business that gets tied up in stock can be a very big number. And that comes right back to managing your cash flow, making sure that your stock turn is fast enough, trying to get your suppliers to give you, extended terms so that you don't have to pay. You can get your cash in before you have to pay your suppliers. But managing your working capital is going to get tougher and tougher as your business grows.
It's not just about the warehouse. With the warehouse comes a stock controller, inventory system, managing shrinkage risk. It starts to get complicated very quickly. And before you know it, your business is not in sales, your business is in warehouse management. And is that really where you want to be? And there's actually a lot of great contract warehousing providers around the country whose job is managing warehouses on behalf of companies who aggregate, for different product lines. So you can aggregate it for you, and you can manage the stock for you.
Consolidate your focus, create a structured strategy, and be careful of locking cash into assets as you grow your business. These were some of the key points made by the thought leaders. And when we come back, we'll hear their final thoughts and top tips, so don't go away.
With Nedbank's revolving business credit cards, you can either earn rewards or get cash back when you settle early. With Nedbank's revolving business credit cards, you can either earn rewards or get cash back when you settle early.
Read about this business in the Business Report this Friday. We've had some great insights and advice from the thought leaders. Dave recommended growing your business in ways that are asset light, so looking at contract or rental options. Wabundaba suggested you negotiate with the DTI to get warehouse spaces and rental holidays. And Tom said you need systems in place that will give you accurate, meaningful, and timeous management information. So what do you make of all this?
Yeah, very valuable information. Some of it we've already investigated, but things like the DTR warehouse space is something that's worth looking at, and I'm sure it will assist us.
Well, let's hear those final thoughts and top tips from the thought leaders.
Yeah, Norman, I was pleased to hear that you've got an accountant that is doing a business model and a business plan, and you said you project up to 14 years. My advice then, I think that accountant, you've got to offer him sweat equity, a business in the company. Once he's projecting, he has to supervise what he has planned on a monthly basis, quarterly or weekly basis, because you're also dealing with cash. And businesses that are having cash, as in cash, at times the cash doesn't reach the coffers of your business. The cash gets used by yourself and your partner. So I like that guy maybe compensating with something, let him benefit, but must also supervise. Thank you.
Norman, I think you've reached that fairly critical stage in the development of your business where you're transitioning from a startup into a business that's going to go into kind of potentially a higher growth phase. And as you go into that phase, the need to be more structured and more disciplined in the way you do things is imperative. So just going through a structured process to write it down and get it absolutely clear on paper, step by step, vision, strategy, structure, KPIs, reward systems, so that you can articulate it to everyone in the company and to the people that you're doing business with and where you may need to raise capital, whether it's debt or equity.
Norman, I think the most important thing is to figure out first what is your business moat? What is the thing which is really differentiating you and creating the real value add for your business to your clients? And make sure you focus your time, energy and money on that aspect of your business, and try not to get dragged into other things in your business which don't actually create the value for you. So it's trying to solve how you can grow in an asset-light way, in a way which is going to manage your cash in a really thoughtful way. And also to make sure you put the systems in place with your people, that you've got clear performance management metrics, clear goals for everybody, and clear feedback, so that everybody's on the same page and delivering at the top of their game.
You've got lots of great advice to take back with you, Norman. What do you think your next few steps are going to be?
The first thing for me, is to approach the DTI, find out where those warehouses that they have are, and if I can get them for free, that will be nice for a while. And from an ICT point of view, it's very important now that we get something that will make it easy for our guys to be able to do their invoices quickly, and us being able to monitor everything that they do at every point, and be able to, at any time, know what they're doing, where they are. And the other thing is that is very important, I think, that was mentioned by the thought leaders, is to make sure that, whatever we're thinking, whatever we're planning, whatever we strategize, that all our guys understand and know exactly what their benefit will be from all of that.
Sounds like you soak things up like a sponge. We wish you the best.
Thank you very much, Andile.
To get a closer look at the thought leaders' top tips, head to the Nedbank Small Business website. That's simplybiz.co.za. Register on Simply Biz today and get access to expert advice, time-saving tools, and great offers that will help you drive the success of your small business. Thank you for joining us for the final episode of It's My Biz Season 4. Not only did we meet some of South Africa's greatest legends and leaders, but also 13 courageous entrepreneurs who are shaping the great brands and businesses of the future. Vote small business. Nedbank certainly is, and here's one of the many ways how.
As a small business owner, you know that cash flow is a volatile thing. Some months you have plenty of cash, and other months it runs dry. So what you need from a bank is flexibility. Nedbank offers you just that with a revolving business credit card, and it's the first in South Africa. With a Nedbank revolving business credit card, you can extend your payment terms. You benefit from up to 55 days interest-free credit. You can choose to pay the minimum of 5% on your month-end outstanding balance, or the full outstanding balance 10 or more days before it's due, to get cash back or earn Nedbank Greenbacks points. And you can redeem your points for things like flights, weekends away, electronic gadgets, business supplies, and even for investing in Ned Group Investments unit trusts. It's the kind of solution you'd expect from a partner that votes small business. Get greater flexibility today. Sign up for Nedbank's comprehensive business offering at simplybiz.co.za. Nedbank is proud to vote small business. Make things happen. Nedbank.